So it's no coincidence that on the night when 80% of the league was out because of Ramadan coming and everything shutting, that the only guy we could get to do the podcast was the one guy in the league who's underage. But here we have it, and let's get it going. Welcome to the Qeason number 5.
And from the beautiful Pearl, Doha, Qatar, Mirage Bay number 4. We're here at poolside with Derek's humble abode. Welcome to the Qeason.
12 games into the season, about halfway to go. Let's get her rolling. And if we're going to start, let's start with a banger. So what happened yesterday? The undefeated Oil Kings are undefeated no more.
No, the mighty have fallen. It had to happen. It happened yesterday. And I was watching front row after our early game. I had a front row view of the matchup between the Oil Kings and Ice Cats. And the Oil Kings went in undefeated. I think their record was 10-0-2 or 11-0-2, I think. So, yeah, and they lost. So
3-2.
3-2 to the Ice Cats, and we'll allude to more about the substitutions, how that played out into this game a little later. But basically, it was a nip and tuck type game. 3-2, back and forth, one goal. One team would go up one, and team would come back and get an equalizer. It wasn't a lot of scoring, as I said. It was 3-2, and it was a little fairly mundane game for the first half, I would say. Most of the players that played, I think, would agree with me on that assessment that early in the game, it was a bit of a sleeper. I was watching with my teammate Jarno. We were watching. I did say, if you just go get coffee or something, or let's come back and maybe something will spark.
Really?
It was
wow.
I thought it was a little bit boring for the first half. And then I think the game kind of picked up after that, and things got going. The goaltenders were Tyson and Rajan, I believe, in the nets. Thomas Tyson, sorry, and Rajan and Vigneault. And I wouldn't say either goalie stood on his head, but they didn't let in any gimmies either, so it was okay. The shots were fairly even from what I recall. There wasn't a high shot affair. I'm going to say it was in the 30s for both teams, which is pretty average for our league. So as the game went on, you had a feeling that something was going to break, like in the last few minutes. And I think it was maybe around the 12-minute mark of the third, it was a 2-2 affair. And a broken play down low. Thaddeus Wrestler, one of our mainstays on the offensive side of things for the league, he had a bit of a chance, and it was a broken play, and puck didn't get out. The Kings didn't get out. They were kind of tired at the end, I think. Puck didn't get cleared from the defensive zone for the Kings, and Jimmy Mack was Johnny on the spot to snipe one. I think that he insists that was the game winner. I think it was, because Jimmy was wearing the rope necklace that they so much adorned their player of the game for the Cats. They've adopted like a Mr. T rope necklace.
Speaking of what's going on with our pineapple sunglasses there, Will, let's make it happen, buddy.
Yeah, I think I actually have the pineapple glasses, so I'm going to try them on. Let's see.
Well, Greg's claiming them after his game. He was very good yesterday.
I was okay yesterday, but I don't think I would not accept player of the game nominee. I think it still would probably be our guy Jesse. Jesse had a great defensive game. I'm wearing these glasses now, I think, Jesse, in honor of you. And the Kings knew that they were going into this game with being hamstrung a little bit with their top forward guys out. Peter Kristanics, Yuri, Russian Rocky Yuri was out, and Mike Pados. So that's 3 of their top forwards. And they were out, so we knew that they were going to have to get some good subs to fill that void. And subs were hard to come by this week. And Mr.
Live by the sword, you die by the sword, right?
So Mr. Jay DaCosta, who plays on the defensive side for the Kings, kind of saw me come in when I was coming into the rink, and he said, "Oh, Greg, are you going to like this? You're going to have a look at our lineup." I said, "Oh, let me guess. not so many good subs today. So he said he kind of laughed, and sure enough, Mr. Hayes had some subs lined up. I think he had Liam lined up. Liam White from the Oryx was going to sub for one of the guys. Had broke his hand.
Liam broke his hand.
Broke his hand Thursday night, so he called Mr. Hayes in the morning, said he couldn't go. So, and he had some others, I think, lined up, and that fell through. So at the end of the day, I think he got Scott Alton from the Silver Surfers, and Colton Green also from the Silver Surfers, who are also teachers at Blythe Academy. Shout out to Blythe Academy, the staff there. You guys coming on. You're not quite there with the numbers compared to ASD staff yet, but we'll keep going and see if we get some more guys, and you might be able to actually have a staff versus staff game maybe against the ASD guys. Anyway, yeah. So
I think Colton might be up there with Will for hockey hornets. I think Colton's he's up there. He's not afraid to.
He can be rented for some craft dinner and a bag of pucks and some tang maybe. I don't know. So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So that basically going into the affair with the Kings and the Cats, it was billed as, are they going to be able to knock them off? Or are the Cats going to be the team to take them today? And as I spoke with Jimmy Mack before they took the ice, he said, I think they're ripe for the taking today. And I said, I concur. Let's see how it plays out. You got to play the game. Sometimes it looks like it would go that way on paper, but that's why they play the games.
We've thought we maybe had that might have been our day that day. We lost, 7-1?
Yeah, we
7-1?
8-2.
8-2, right?
Ripped. I'll talk about that in a little while. And, so the game was, a very competitive game. And actually, the way the game was going, the longer the Kings were able to keep it close, I thought maybe they'll get, they'll get the go-ahead goal, right?
Just coming,
right.
just lurking.
But I think what happened was, in my view anyway, and I missed messages to Nathaniel last night at golf, that I thought he and Bence kind of tired down the stretch. Maybe the whole team did, but in particularly Bence, I thought looked a little bit gassed. The guys are playing huge minutes, and it's a tight game. And the Cats, they were only missing Jeremy. They had all their big guns. The only one that they didn't have was Jeremy Smith. They had Callie going. They had Thaddeus going. Johnny Mayer was there, and Jimmy Mack got a key goal in the end to win it there. So that's how it ended.
It's good for the league. It's good for the season. It's nice to have it.
You got to get it off the schneid, and apparently, I know I can confirm. Now, I can't confirm whether or not this was a promise that Mr. Hayes meant, that he promised the guys or said out loud that if the longer they go on this win streak, undefeated streak, he would keep the beard.
Nice.
And if they lost, he would be clean shaven. And
wow.
He showed up at golf last night at a little tourney we had, and he was like a baby's bum.
Wow.
Clean shaven. So I think there was something to that. So that I think it might be good for them actually, and he probably would concur that they need to get that loss off under their
like what happened what happened with Boston last year. You get so used to winning, when you start losing, you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah,
right?
So I think it might play out to be a good thing. Get it over with, get back in the saddle, play them again now on Sunday in a home and home, we'll call it.
Yeah,
they play the Cats again tomorrow night. So we'll see. I don't play tomorrow. We don't play.
I think I'm reffing that one.
You're reffing. And I think I'll venture out to spectate and then maybe do some cat calls and mocking from bench side. We'll see. I can be known to mock. I have
an opinion or two.
Let's
move on to our game. Our game was exciting, sort of uneventful in the end. But let's talk a little bit about our game. We got off the big schneid with the schneid we were on. It was good to get a win because we don't play for another week, so it was nice to.
What we've clearly defined, if not anything, is that our identity. Our identity is to keep the games close, try to play good structural defense. Don't play dumb hockey. Play smart, intelligent, cerebral hockey. Rely on Jesse to get things going. He and Will probably to generate our offense. We're going to need that going forward, with Peter being out for an indefinite amount of time. We're going to have to rely on Peter and Jesse and Will to generate, I think, offensive. But the key is structurally for us to get into the mold of playing good defense, get everybody back on the back check, make sure that we don't give up on the play, because a lot of the time the play slows down, and the guy who's hustling to get back. The fifth guy on our team can make a difference by lifting a stick or something, and it disrupts the play. That was a great team effort yesterday on the D. And Jesse contained Johnny Finnegan, I thought. John's asked to do a lot there with their team. They had all the Bashers. They had all their guys. I mean, Loader was back from his conditioning stint in Thailand. I think he had 2 to 3 pounds of extra skin on his feet. So as he does so many times on these, he gets exfoliated on the beach. He has a Singha, he has a Leo, and he enjoys getting removal of skin. Is how he says, skin off feet. This is what he says to the attending ladies at the beach in patio. He's like, skin off feet. Oh yes, sir. You've been here before. I know exactly. So here's your pile of skin. And so Loader was back in the fold. Chuck was there. Charles Fullerton was there. Ryan was there. Vendetti was there.
Did Vendetti get a goal?
I don't know who scored for them. I think Ryan got one. No, John Finnegan got there first. Remember, John Finnegan had a nice snipe early in the game. It was no score. Johnny Finnegan took the puck, as he so often does, on a rush. We gave him a little bit too much space on the left side going down the wing, and he was able to unload that patented snapshot and got far post, I think, on Tyson. No, not Tyson. Was Tyson in the goal?
No, it was Fareed and
Carey. So it was Fareed. He beat Fareed to the glove hand early in the game. I was a little worried, but it was early. We shook it off. We were able to get back into our normal structure and kept it close, and that's how we have to play our games. I think we have to play good defense.
If they'd scored a second goal, we were fragile enough from our last couple of games that I think we would have struggled.
I think
we started kind of chipping at each other and having the Jesse show, right?
So I think we were able to suck it up, get back into the structure. I think we got the next goal, which made things totally different at that point, and we got back into the game. And I think shots are fairly low. I think both teams were in the low 20s. So goaltenders really didn't have to make a lot of stops. I don't think there was a lot of quality. I mean, I had a couple of quality chances myself that I didn't capitalize on. Got one late. Jesse, right. I think Jesse had 2 and 1. Will had, I think, a goal and assist or 2 assists, something like that. So we played a good team. It was a good team effort, and we were able to come victorious over the Doom Bashers 4-2. And,
so that now leaves us in the league. That leaves us with the Kings are still on top, although they've had a chink in their armor. They're now sitting on 20 points. The Cats have overtaken us to be in second place. We're in third with 12. Surfers are on 9, and the Bashers are on 5, and kind of need to get their engines going, or they might be in trouble for the long stretch. Hey, famous last words. I said this about the Surfers, and they ended up smoking us. So this is your good luck bounce. This is the Qeason bounce for you guys. You want to talk a little bit about the scoring leaders and stuff? It's pretty basic.
What do we have there as far as the top guys?
Yes, he's kind of lapping the field with 37, but it's getting close. John Meyer and Will are both on 24. Finnegan and Thaddeus are both on 22, and then it's still pretty tight because you're down there at 9th, but you've got like 19, so there's not much space between everybody. So it's good. It's good, close. There's the Trillionaires.
All right, yeah.
So it's been good. A lot of people are off their trillions, mostly for goals, not for penalties. Although there's a couple of those. But and I know she's a D. I know she's a stay-at-home D and she does her job well. But Kristen Ostrowski, you are now the leader with I think 6 games and still on a big old trillion. And the only other player on a trillion is Roger Headley. So if you need to run me, double forehand to the top of the melon, I'll take it.
Do we know how many games they've played? I know Kristen.
Well, Kristen's on about I think 6 or 8.
Roger hasn't played.
Roger's only on 2, so and he's got.
And he's coming off knee surgery, I think.
Yeah.
So he's easing himself back into the rigors of the league again. So Roger.
And not to rub salt on wounds, but Vince Stack, you are paper thin, buddy. He's got 1 assist in 10 games.
He hasn't been. He has played 10 games.
Yeah.
Really?
10 games.
I wouldn't have said Vince played. I know he wasn't there yesterday, so they were missing Vince yesterday. Yeah, Vince get it going, man.
Do we want to go with grinds my gears? Greg grinds. Let's go with grinds my gears.
This is our like maybe we'll call this the initial segment of Greg's grinds.
Greg's grinds, and we need to. We'll try and keep it to a reasonable amount of time.
This
we keep
is
it
a
to
family show.
One
I think,
grape per episode.
I'm gonna go off on our draft process. I think more this year than ever, our draft process is a little bit flawed. We need to explore possibly the way within the dynamic of our talent, of our hockey acumen, the guys that we have about 10 to 12 elite players that comprise our league. Then there's another tier of average players to above average. Then there's a bottom tier of guys that are getting better at hockey. Some guys haven't played at all that have come on. So that's to break it down to you that are not familiar with the dynamic of our league and how it's set up, the logistics of it all, the player-wise. We have about, I'm going to say 12 to 15 guys that I would consider are the nucleus of the league, the elite. And maybe even you can break it down to 10. So in future drafts, I would propose that the captains seriously take a look at drafting tiers. You got 5 right now within the dynamic of our talent pool. We have 5 dynamic defensemen, and it's about 5. It's not more. You could probably squeeze one more in there, maybe 6, but there's 5 for sure. And there's 5 for sure dynamic forwards. And after that, it gets thin. There's not the same dynamic player anymore. There's not the same skill sets. Yes, there are some good players, but there's bona fide 10 that could easily be spread over the way we draft our league right now amongst our 5 teams. So you divide that by 2. There you go. You got your 2 players on each team. You pick a top defenseman. You pick a top forward, and the league, the captains don't know who they're drafting. You're invested into the whole process, and then when your top 2 rounds are completed, you've drafted your 5 forwards. The captains agree who should go next. You do that for the forwards and the defensemen, and now after the second round, Team A is pulled from the hat. So whoever draws the name, if it's one captain, we'll call him Peter. Whoever Peter draws Team A, well, that's his team. And then the next guy goes, he pulls Team 5 or Team E. He's got Team E, and the other guy he pulls Team C. So that's how you don't know what team you're getting. So you have a vested interest in keeping the parity at a premium. So because of the way we have the league set up now, it avails us to do that. I think this is something that our league has to look at, because we dropped the ball. I think the captains kind of dropped the ball and trying to one-upmanship on the other captain, and or pick their friend. And when the players,
to be fair, I think we've had it's a nice problem to have. We have a problem of we just haven't had this amount of talent in the league to. Well,
it's a good thing to have, but we have to manage it correctly.
Yeah.
Right? We're not managing it correctly. I mean, when you get guys we can name the names of the teams and the stuff, and it's like, we know that the Kings benefited from where Captain Hayes selected, and he was able to avail of himself at number 1. He has to go 1, and consequently he gets the 6th pick. So he takes the 6th best player in the draft with himself. Automatically, that gives the Kings a leg up on all 5 teams. And how could we have combated it? Well, you either make a better choice, you draft better in the current format that we have. You draft who should be drafted, and you had the opportunity. Captains had an opportunity to make Mr. Hayes go 2, so that way he would have had to take himself at 2 and wait until number 9 to take it. There's a big difference between picking at 9.
So see, this is what happens. This is what happens, Hayes. You say no to being on the podcast, and Greg gets a free swing at it.
And here's the thing. I'm not critique. I'm not trying to come down on Nathaniel. You gotta, like I said to Nathaniel in person,
he's playing
I said,
within the system.
You can't hate the player. You hate the game.
And we're back with our special guest today, young Matthew Reed, and welcome to the show.
Thanks. I've been looking forward to this.
All right, that's good stuff. So tell us a little bit about. You've been in Qatar now for how long?
I moved to Qatar 2.5 years ago. I came from Boston, where I lived for the first 14 years of my life.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about before you came to Qatar. What was your hockey past? What were you? When did you start playing? What's the hockey scene like in Boston for a kid?
There's a lot of town teams, club teams. I started playing I started skating when I was 4, and I started playing for my town when I was 5. And I played town all the way until I turned 14. I would have stayed and played high school the year after that, but I was struck with news that I was moving to Qatar.
I'll just sorry to interrupt you. So I'll just help you out there. Like, so how did you get the news that you were going to be moving? Like, did your parents bring this up that it's a possibility to you, or was it just like all of a sudden a surprise? Guess what, Matthew? We're going to this place called Doha, and they have camels.
Had you heard of Qatar before you
Yeah.
came here?
Did you know anything about this area of the world and that type of thing, or was it totally surprised and shocked, or you had some time to process it? Well, how did that go?
Well, let's see. It was during the summer, probably during the end of July, and I sit down for dinner, and they're like, so I want to tell you something. In about 2 months, we're moving to Qatar. And at first I was like, come on, are you joking, or like, what's going on? And they're like, nope, your dad landed a job with Qatar Energy, and we're moving out in about 2 months. So I was like, oh. I was in shock. I wasn't expecting it.
So let's talk a little bit about your season and what you've had going on this year. You're on a good team, but you're mostly lining up with who you playing with when you're lining up?
I'm usually with Thaddeus or Johnny.
That makes life easy.
Those are our centers. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to play with either or, yeah?
Yep.
So that's pretty good, because both of those guys are, I would say, elite players in our league, so it's good to get opportunities from them, and you just skate and they'll get you the puck and that type of thing. So
and you're on 6 goals with 4 assists, but you've only played, you've got 4 goals with 6 goals, 4 goals, but you haven't played that many games, right?
No.
What's been going on? Why have you been missing the games?
I traveled for a week where we had 3 games in that week.
You got a girlfriend or anything? No.
And then
The beginning of the end.
that's a good question. I think I just missed 3 or 4 games from me.
Because
you
you're
had school commitments, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
you're
So-
currently sitting in 23rd place in the scoring. I know this stuff matters too when you're your age. And then, but if you were to project it over a season, you're about 1.5 points a game. It would have you pretty close to the top 10. Have you got a goal for what you want to do? How many goals you want to get this year? What are your goals for the season?
Well, I'm looking at the list, and the quality in the league has definitely shot up over the past year and a half, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping. Well, my main goal is I want to win the championship.
There's your
Have you won one
answer.
yet?
No, I
No,
haven't.
neither
For all
have I.
you GMs and coaches and captains out there, there's the politically correct answer. I just want to
Win the
win.
cup.
Right.
There's your answer.
But if
And
I had
what-
to say for points, if I could get in the top 15, top 10, that'd be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. No
Right.
reason why you can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it going. And for you guys that don't know, Matthew also played goal, right? He plays goal. He subs in for us when we're short goalies. He also can play between the pipes.
And the other one he's picked up, which we have to talk about, is he's reffing now.
Oh yeah, he started reffing.
He started reffing. He showed yesterday. He was like, he rolled the puck
Yeah.
out to the thing. He was on point reffing.
So, like, yeah, he's a big asset to our league in more ways than one. So we're glad to have him on board. And what's it like? Obviously, your dad, Andrew, plays in the league, right? And what's it like? Is this since you got to Doha? Is this the first opportunity really you've had to play with your dad on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the U.S., it's kids, and
Just special occasions you get to play. Is it? Yeah.
there's really not much. Maybe I play with them once or twice.
Right.
Now, sadly, I have to play with them every week.
Oh yeah. Now,
Didn't he score the game
here-
winner yesterday? Pretty close
Yeah.
to.
Here, okay. Let's see if you learned anything by the politically correct answers. If I was to ask you who's the better hockey player, you or your dad, what would you say?
That could go either way, I think. I mean,
You could go with your heart, or you can go and play it politically correct and know where you get your meals and stuff.
You're
yeah.
faster. I'll give you that. You're
I'd
faster
say-
than your dad.
I'd say I'm faster, but he's smarter.
So
Yeah.
he's kind of right on the fence, and that's a good way of looking at it. You know, like I think as he gets older, though, you know, I definitely think
No,
he might
but
be in for
your dad's definitely a smart player. He's like, he knows what he's doing. He knows he makes the smart play consistently.
he knows the
that kind
game,
of thing,
so,
right? So
yeah.
good Boston stock. So let's talk a little bit about your reffing. How you finding the reffing? How many games have you reffed so far?
I've ref 2 games. Friday and I believe Tuesday it was.
And what's been the biggest challenge when you've been reffing in terms of like?
Probably, I don't know, making the calls while no one likes you when you're the ref. Both teams are against you, I'd say. You make one call, some people aren't happy about it. You make another call, the other people aren't happy about it. I mean, it's a lot more difficult than it looks because you have to see everything.
Do you think
and it happens a lot quicker than you realize, and things happen, and somebody's like skating past you going, he was hooking, slashing all day, and you're like, what? I was just trying to see where the puck was out of the zone.
Do you feel that because you are only 16 and you're volunteering for the first time reffing, do you perceive that the league members will give you a little bit more of a break than someone like Derek doing the game? Like, do you feel like they'll take it easier on you because you know you're only 16 and getting used to reffing a little bit? Do you feel like that's kind of what's going on there? You don't feel too under the gun by the members? They're not making you feel too bad?
No, I don't feel it.
Yeah, that's good.
But that's just because it's early in the season. As you get a little closer to the playoffs, if you're playing in if they got a win to get in, there's going to be some. McMahon might have some words
I cut
for
you
you.
Slack early now, but
right. That's a.
So
just the best thing is just skate away and drop the puck for the next one. Great. One thing I want to talk about is that last thing is your family is one of the people that's been to my surf school in Sri Lanka, and they had a good time. You didn't get to go because you were in Croatia, but talk about that, about the getting away. And one of the things for you is like living here. It must be great, all these exotic places you get to go to as a kid, right?
Yeah. Well, ever since we moved here, we've had the opportunity to travel a lot more than in the U.S. In the U.S., it would be like once a summer. I'd go to Croatia because that's where my mom's side of the family's from. But now we're traveling like every 3 or 4 months. I mean, my parents and my brother went to Sri Lanka they did some surfing. They saw the culture and stuff. I opted to go to Croatia because I wanted to see my family and maybe do some hunting over there.
All right.
So,
what do you hunt for? Boars?
Wild boar, deer, bears.
Nice.
That reminds me of the Lord of the Flies.
Right.
Was it Piggy?
Getting after it.
Piggy got hit by the boulder. Not good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I need to ask you. I guess you hail from Boston, right?
Yep.
So born in Boston. Did you say that?
Yep.
Born and raised in Boston. So obviously the Bruins are your team.
Yeah.
Do you feel allegiance because you were born and raised in Boston, or do you feel brainwashed by your dad? Bit of both, or
it could be a bit of both. Yeah.
Like there's added pressure should you rebel. Like
Well,
let's say you wanted to go for Montreal, that wouldn't be received well.
Probably not.
No.
I mean, I started rooting for the Bruins not because of my dad or the town, but because of my uncle.
Oh, okay.
Because when I was 3 years old, my uncle came from Croatia, and he was interested in hockey. They don't have that a lot over there.
Yeah.
And he loved the Bruins, so he'd get me going at 3 years old, just walking around the house saying, "Let's go Bruins." Let's go Bruins.
Really?
That's a cool story. Yeah.
And that's how I became.
So growing up, being a Bruins fan, I guess I wouldn't be surprised that if you told me a certain player that's your favorite. But so who's your favorite Bruins player?
Oh, this is gonna be controversial.
Oh no, he's gonna go 63.
Brad Marchand
Right.
has been my favorite.
Love him to
You either
hate him or you love him, but you want him on your team, right?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but in like when you see sometimes you see footage of the older Bruin teams, right? Like who would you like? Your dad's favorite player would be who? Somebody like Ray Bourque, maybe, or Cam Neely, someone like that.
I'd say those players and anyone in that sort of
That vintage.
Era.
In that era.
So as a kid from Boston, let me ask you this: do you have any choice about the teams you want? Is it like you like the Celtics,
Philly?
you like the you like the Bruins, you like the Pats, you like the that's it. Your only choices, right?
Well, if
you like this Red Sox.
If you get caught rooting for another team, you're in trouble.
Yeah, couldn't like I say, it couldn't be too good if he went to like his school and one day, or like as a bet, he had to wear. Canadians would be bad.
Yankees would probably get you.
Oh yeah, like for baseball, if you went in with anything. Actually, in Boston, Philly, those type of cities in the States, they're avid, they're fanatics.
Such
like
well-rounded.
I always hear
fans,
Philly,
right?
and Boston's probably pretty much the same. They're very diehard about their teams and their players. So it'd be considered sacrilegious, I think, if you came into school and you had anything but a Boston jersey on, whether that's New England, Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox, Celtics. Lakers would be bad as well.
Yeah.
Going into any school with a Lakers jersey, that would be bad stuff.
So overall, in the end, are you happy you made the move? Have you enjoyed your time in the last couple of years here?
At first, I wasn't too thrilled about it because I had to adapt to. So life is very different here than the US. But now I'd say I'm enjoying it now. Now that I've gotten used to how it is, I found the good parts.
And you got hockey, right? If you didn't have hockey, who knows?
I don't know what I'd be doing without it.
So that's a good escape for you, right? Like even for your dad and Derek and I always talk about this, that it's for us guys, between work and family stuff going on and just being over here and in a different environment, it's always good to have some normalcy to your life. So hockey's been a big advocate for that for us.
And there's nothing better than waking up on a game day and being like, I got hockey today, right?
Yeah.
Right? You just makes the day a little bit. We've got nothing for the next week, and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. We don't play Sunday. We don't play Tuesday.
You could always ask Kyle what.
Yeah.
Our teammate Kyle might have an idea what you could do with yourself.
No. Or just start looking around for the
steel wool somewhere.
The steel wool. What's your guys' schedule like for this week? Do you know?
Well, we've got our second game in a row against the Oil Kings this Sunday. That'll be a difficult. I mean, this past game against the Oil Kings, we managed to win 3-2. That was tight, very defensively played. Of course, they didn't have Peter K, Yuri, or who else was it?
Like Pados?
Pados, yeah.
But would you agree with? I always maintain with this with anybody I talk about the rosters throughout the league and stuff. Would you agree with me that as long as the Kings have Nathaniel and Bence on defense, that they're all going to be in every game? Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah.
Like I think you could. They're going to be on. They're going to be. They might put them over the top is when they have those key forwards, Yuri, Peter K, and Mike in the lineup.
That's when they lay an 8-2 thumping on you.
Yeah, and then Pados wasn't there for that game, so we didn't even get the wrath of Mike on that one. But I think and you don't want to beat a dead horse, but we do always revert back to what the Kings lineup looks like, and their record speaks for itself. They and Nathaniel, Captain Hayes has done a great job mitigating subs. The Hartzog sub situation is done. That's a topic for maybe another time.
That's another grind.
I'm not. Yeah, well, we'll leave that. I won't comment on that for today. We'll leave that for another time. So.
But so for you guys going forward, if you beat them, that's going to send shockwaves around the league. If you get them 2 out of 2, and then it's game on to the end of the season. Apparently,
though, like I was speaking with John Mayer yesterday at the golf course. And John, he was happy about the win, about beating the Kings the first time anybody's beaten the Kings. But he mentioned, he said, he seems like you guys have our number. Like he says, you guys seem to be able, Desert Heat seems to be able to beat the Cats. And I said, well, every time we play, it's a different roster. So it depends on who you're missing. Like you say, we talk about this all the time. That if there's certain consequential people out for one team and the other team doesn't, or they are able to pick up subs and makes one team stronger on any given day, anything can happen. So I think we were kind of lucky on that side of things when we faced the Cats. And I think a couple times when we beat them, they were missing Jeremy. They might have been missing Calais on another time. So I don't think John would, you don't have anything to worry about. I think you're going to get one up on us soon. So.
And I think, like you said, it's also now that the season's developing, like teams are getting their styles, right? Like you're starting to see, like the Kings can fly and have a solid defense. We're grindy with plus Michael Jordan.
Well, we have
right,
the best
with,
player in the game,
right? We have
right? And that's how
was it
we'll
Connor
roll.
McDoha,
And you get the first pick. Will was lucky enough to get the first round pick, and obviously he took Jesse, who's, don't make no qualms about it. Jesse, I think you can argue maybe Nathaniel is right there as far as.
What do you think your guys' style is?
We have some good defenders. I think if the way that we can thrive is if our wingers can shut down the defense on the other team, and our centers and our defense can keep getting pucks on net, we could be doing.
I think
well.
I think you are the team that has the best chance. Let's say if the playoffs started tomorrow, and we're going to go with all rosters being equal. You guys and the Kings have their top guns. You guys have your top guns. I think you guys have the best chance of the 4 teams in the league to beat them. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean,
Shots fired.
This is why you have to play the games and play the whole season. We're only at the 12-game point, and there's 26 games in our season for the second half. So we're right close to the halfway point, pretty much 1 game away. And lots of hockey to be played yet before we get into jockeying and see what can happen. There can be a lot of, and we haven't ruled out there could be some trades. You never know. There might be some. No, there'll be still a possibility of trades happening before the trade deadline. The NHL trade deadline was yesterday, I think. So maybe ours is not.
See what happens with us with our
see if
vacant 2 spot.
Horse trading going on down the stretch. We'll see.
All right. Well, it was good having you, buddy. Thanks for the
well done, brother. Well done.
The work and. What do we say, Greg?
Are we going to take it to break, or what do you want to talk about? Anything else?
I think we just go, right?
Yeah, so we just sign off for it until next week, or next podcast. Keep your stick up, keep your stick on the ice, keep your head up.
Keep your head up. And the good old hockey game is the best game you can name.
Stompin' Tom, here we go.
And the best game you can name is the good old hockey